Go hard, we don't take no shit. TMB, we'll take your bitch. You know where? You know we about our money. You know we don't turn down nothing. You know where?
Your guy Mario Cristobal from Oregon,
Yeah.
he goes over to Miami. And I don't understand this thing. Like, everybody wants to attach the old school to the new school. Just get the best coaches and the best players. Don't try to get the guy because he out of the city or he was there. But this guy, he came from back in the day in the Jimmy Johnson era. So they looking to go.
That's the problem to me. You got to get some new blood, new direction, new shit in. What's up, SBO? Roll Tide. We ain't got there yet, goddamn it.
Hey, we got the Roll Tide in our content that we got out there. Go check the library. We already bust that down for you, but shout out to the Roll Tide. But this guy Mario Cristobal, he comes in 51 years old, 11th year coaching, overall record 62-60. I don't think the guy is a great coach yet, but here's his opportunity to stand behind his experience and where he came from, and maybe they can get some greatness out of him. But he's an ex-Miami offensive tackle, 1989 to 1992, the Jimmy Johnson era, played some NFL and NFL Euro. As a coach, he started out in 1998 and to right now, positions including general assistant, player coach at offensive tackle, tight end, offensive line, recruiting coordinator, offensive coordinator, and head coach. He's a coach for schools such as Miami, Rutgers, FIU, Alabama, and Oregon. His accolades are a 2 Pac-12 championship and 1 Sun Belt championship. Now, this guy signs a deal right here. Not a bad deal. Nothing like Lincoln Riley, but this guy goes 10-year deal, $80 million.
They go 10 years, though? Jesus Christ, that's a long time.
Fuck, yeah, 10-year deal.
It's 10 years? Wow. That's nice. That's crazy. Okay. See, that's what you get when you got the familiarity and history with the team and yada, yada, yada. And
because he played on the Cons. He played on the Cons team.
So now you're going to get he's a Hurricane. He's an alum. When the glory, I'm gonna bring back the glory days, all that bullshit. And and personally, I mean, at FIU, he went 27-47. Like, I don't know. I mean, Oregon, he went 35-13 overall. Again, I'm not big on the Pac-12, man. So what he did there, it's like you play, your tough games are USC. Maybe you get Stanford in a physical game here and there, and then maybe Utah, but your talent should beat everybody with the exception of USC. So for you to go 35-13, yeah, you shouldn't blow it. I'm not going to take away anything from you. From what I read about him, apparently he's like an elite recruiter. That's his thing. So if he can keep we all know, in my opinion, my humble opinion, Miami, Texas, California, 3 best football. If you want to throw the Big Ten area in there, I don't want to hate on the Big Ten area. But from my experience, and yes, I am a homer. I'm H-Town, Texas till I die. So, but with that being said, Texas, Florida, Cali, those are your 3 major football recruiting grounds. This is where you want to. If your team is not full of some of these kids, then you're doing something wrong in recruiting wise. So if he can keep those Miami kids away from Florida and away from the FIUs and the Florida States, and like you said, so if he can keep those guys at the U, then he can get to those glory days. But we'll get to Florida a little later. I like their coaching change. I'm not so big on Cristobal, man. I'm kind of a show me. I need to see it, and to give him 10 years, that's crazy to me, man. I didn't know he got that amount of time, man. But hey, good luck to the Hurricanes. Good luck to the Hurricanes this year, man. I don't know. I mean, to me, it just says alum. That's what that move says to me.
Man, we're gonna keep the money in the house. That's probably what it's all about when it comes down to the alumni. But last year, Miami went 7-5, averaged 34 points a game, gave up 28 points on defense. They returned in 7 on the offense. 7 on the defense. At quarterback, they got step-up freshman Van Dyke, who should start with some depth behind him. At running back, led by last year's Thaddeus Franklin, they added transfer Henry Parrish from Ole Miss and some other new recruits. At wide receiver, last year's Charleston Rambo and Mike Harley, and they add transfers Frank Ladison from Clemson, plus a little more depth. On offense, only 3 starters back. I mean, at the O-line, only 3 starters back, but may have some talent within the depth. But this is a unit where Cristobal excels at, so we expect the best for him to put that line together. And then on the defensive line, only 1 starter return, but they add 5 transfers. Mitchell from UCLA, Akeem from Western Virginia, Jacob from USC, and Daryl from Maryland, and Antonio from UAB. So they went to all some big schools and tried to grab some of these good recruited linemen who's sitting behind some of these great linemen, defensive linemen that they got at these big schools. So I don't know how that's going to work. You taking a third, maybe 4th string player, and you taking him and bringing him in as the man. And I believe in college football, it's levels to this shit. Like, some players can only play great in high school, shit in college. Great in college, shit in the NFL. Rarely do you find these athletes, that's why they're so great in the NFL, that can excel at every speed change, at every weightlifting challenge change, at all the changes on all the levels, they continue to exceed. So, that's a lot on that right there. At linebacker, they got 5 experienced returners, new defensive coordinator Kevin Steele from Auburn. At defensive back, they returned 2 from last year, and Al Blades transfer and Daryl Porter, both from West Virginia. Total, they have 4 or 5 transfer players that can start. So he got dealt a decent hand, kind of the same thing he got in Oregon. Another man's hard works put together, and he's coming there to orchestrate it. Like you said, alumni thing. He come in here to fire up the locker room and fire up the alumni, the fans, and everything. And then we still got the same players. We just see if we can light some fire to their ass and get them out there to play well. So I kind of predict them to go maybe the same thing, 7-5 or something. Yeah. Maybe takes them to a nice little bowl game or, something to accredit on the first thing, because that's kind of what the guy does. He can jump in and just start orchestrating stuff. So he's in there moving around, but I don't know. He said the whole defensive line is trash. I got to rebuild I got to get 5 recruits, 4 starters, and somebody's depth.
And somebody
you know what that says to the guys that was with the old coach last year? They like, oh, man, he don't like us.
You might need to. We might need to hit that transport portal too, Coach.
Yep. You got any extras on Cristobal? What's your overall opinion? What you think? Any bet angles or anything might happen over here?
I know he's gonna focus on running the ball versus airing it out. Last year, that's kind of what his thing, power running. I looked at like you said, man. For me, Cristobal, I didn't really look at anything to bet with him yet. I need to look at Miami's schedule and kind of gauge the ACC, which is what me and Coach is about to do in the next couple of weeks, break down each conference by conference, and check. But I'm in agreement with you. I don't see nothing better than a 7-6 or they went 7-5, maybe 8-4. That's going to depend on what Clemson's looking like and what their schedule shapes up, who's on it, where it's at. But for me, this year, because he hasn't had a chance, like I said, his thing's supposed to be recruiting. So he hasn't had a chance to get his guys or his recruitment class. And so we're going to be playing with last year's recruit. If I look at what he did at Oregon, he steadied the ship. He kept the ship afloat. He did do that. But the Miami ship isn't afloat. It wasn't floating. Oregon was looking good. They were steady in their conference. Well, we don't think of Miami like Miami when I was in high school. Miami used to be like the shit. Niggas like, ain't nobody doing this no more. Ain't nobody doing this shit no more. When I was coming up, niggas was like the man. McGahee. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Sean Taylor. Andre Johnson. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the you that I know. And I know the Cons was Sap and all those guys. But I'm just saying, even my generation, we still had the you. It was still the you. Ken Dorsey and them guys that lost to Claret in that game. Like That's not, Ray Lewis, Dave. I see you. That's not, man. When was the last time somebody was like, and this shout out to my boy Moneyline. When we talking college games and college recruits and kids, we always ask ourselves these questions. Ed Reed, for sure. If you're a top 5-star recruit out of high school, you going to Miami or you going to SC? And SC not what SC is, but even right now, just right now, you going to Miami or you going to SC with 2 brand new coaches? I'm going to SC.
Bye, I'm going.
What's up, Lincoln? Cristobal? No, I'm out of here. You going?
I heard y'all got good weather out here. I heard y'all got good weather. Let's go,
man. So I'm kind of like with Cristobal. I'm more of a. I got to see a couple weeks in action. I got to see how the kids coming out. I got to see. I need to see a couple weeks before I'm betting on them. But I will keep my eye on them because one way or the other, there'll be a fade. There'll either be a fade or a bet on.
Fade them against big opponents because that's been his Achilles heel all the time. So
that's what it was.
SEC, if he has to pay anybody big in the SEC, count him out.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was last year. Fade.
But that's Cristobal, man. Let's keep this train moving, man. We gotta. We can sit up here and talk all day.
Yeah, man. Let's go.
I gotta.
TMB, we'll take your bitch. You know where? You know we about our money. You know we don't turn down nothing.